let you know, behind the mirrors and all that smoke, promises and alibis. I don't believe, told me you would change my world. Now I know what you are worth. Gone and lost your hold on me. I don't believe, have me acting like a fool.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you for stopping by. My name is Courtney and this is Creative on the Cheap, where I like to do budget-friendly DIYs and home decor. Today I've got 3 spring DIYs for you that you can make on a small budget. If you are new and like what you see, I would love for you to take me up on my free offer, which is to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any of my future DIYs. At the end of this video, please comment down below and let me know which one of these was your favorite. And if you're new, please make sure to say hi so that I can say hi back. Without further ado, let's get into today's DIYs. For the first DIY, I'm going to be making a flower display. So I'm going to use 2 of these clay pots from Dollar Tree. These are not the mini pots. These are the ones that are the next size up. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this Waverly White chalk paint and I'm going to paint the entire outside of the pot along with about 1 inch on the inside of the pot. However, I don't feel that step is necessary at this point. I just did it because I was afraid the inside of the pot was going to show. So just depending on what type of flower you use, you may not need to paint the inside of the pot. Once the pots are dry, I'm going to go ahead and take these stamps that I got from Tuesday morning, and I'm just using black ink, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the word bloom on one of the pots and grow on the other. Now you may notice while I'm stamping this, I am rocking the stamp very gently back and forth. That's because this is a curved surface, and that way I can make sure the whole stamp gets on there. So just remember, if you're working on a curved surface, you're probably going to need to do a little bit of a rocky motion. I knew I wanted to do something with twine on my pots, but I didn't want to just wrap them or just tie a bow. So I'm taking 3 pieces of twine and I'm going to just make a really long braid, and then I'll tie off the ends, and this will be what I attach to my pots. So finding the middle of the little braided twine, and I'm starting on the back of the pot. I'm just tacking it down with some hot glue and just working my way around, and then when I get to the front, I'm just going to crisscross the 2 pieces of braided twine. Now for the little display shelf to put my pots on, this is just a piece of scrap wood that I had in my garage. I sanded it down, I sanded the corners, took off the edge, and I really wasn't trying to make this be all lined up or anything. So I'm just stamping it through with, again, black ink. And then once this part is done, after it says fresh flowers, I'm gonna take the same ink stampers and just kind of use the edge of them to kind of make some marks. And then once I've made some little black marks through it, as you can see here, I'm going to go back with a sponge and some ink and kind of stamp it all over the place. And what it ends up looking like is like it's a really old piece of kind of burnt up wood. You could use paint with this. I just like the look of the using the sponge with the ink because I feel like it just gives it a light shadowing versus paint where it's a little more full coverage. I also decided to go ahead and take that same sponge and then just lightly brush the top rim of each of the pots. Now taking a piece of green foam from Dollar Tree, I'm just gonna cut this thing in half and set a piece of it in each pot, and then I'll be ready to start arranging my flowers. The flowers that I chose came from Dollar Tree, and the first batch were these pink roses. I thought these were so pretty, and I'm just gonna go in and arrange them. I decided to leave the leaves because I felt like it looked more like it was kind of growing in the pot. And then the second group of flowers are the crocus. I do not know if I said that right, but I'm going to be using those in the second pot, and then this little DIY is all finished. I I did want to quickly mention, after the flowers were all in, I took some Dollar Tree moss and went ahead and just patted that in to cover up any exposed foam. Here's how it turned out. I did want to tell you, if you wanted to get more use out of this, on the opposite side of where it says fresh flowers, you could stamp fresh herbs, and then you would be able to use this for flowers or herbs. Before we get into our second DIY, I did want to mention that this is a friend hop hosted by Heidi from Happily Thriving Heidi. So when you are done watching my video, click on the link down below in the description box and it will take you to another one of these friends who will show you some more spring DIYs. This next DIY is another super easy one. So I picked up this wooden rolling pin from Goodwill for 50 cents. I'm going to be using some Waverly Ballet Slipper paint. And what I'm going to do is take some painter's tape and I'm going to tape off some stripes on this rolling pin. Then I'm going to go in with my paintbrush and paint one coat of the ballet slipper paint and then peel it off. Now that the stripes are all painted, I'm going to go ahead and take the same ballet slipper paint and paint the handles of the rolling pin. The last step in this DIY is going to be taking this printable that I made, and I will include a link to it down in the description box for some carrot cake, Nana's carrot cake to be specific, and a carrot from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to trace around this carrot. Now, I would recommend flipping your printable over to the back if you can figure out where you want it, or if you do it this way, you might need to erase pencil marks. So I just wanted to say that. Go ahead and trace it where you want it, whether it's on the ingredients list, the recipe part, wherever you want to print it out. There's lots of text. Once you trace around it, you're simply going to trim it out. Then I'm going to take some Gorilla Adhesive spray, and I'm simply going to spray my carrot, attach it on there, and then for a final touch, I'm going to take two colored pencils. One is a green and one is an orange, and I'm going to kind of go around the edge of the carrot where the greenery is supposed to go in green, and then the carrot part in orange, and then lightly shade it in. I don't want it to be super orange and green. I just kind of want a light hint of color. And then to finish it off, all I did was tie my little carrot cake recipe to my rolling pin with a piece of twine. For the last DIY, I'm going to be using one of these bunnies from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to save the little inserts of the ears for later. I'm just going to go ahead and take off all this tinsel, and once the tinsel's off, I'm going to go in and use my Fiskars curved blade scissors to trim off all the little knobbies on there, and then I'm going to break the bunny apart so I end up with only the part of this bunny that has the head and the ears. Here I have some Amy Howard at Home chalk paint in the color French Blue, and this is the first time I am using it. I am undecided about it at the moment. I will share more about this in my end of the month DIY favorites, but this little decor piece came from Goodwill. It was $1.99, and this is what I'm going to be using to attach my bunny head, so I'm going to go ahead and paint it. It did take me 3 coats of this paint to use it, so I don't know, the first time using this paint, I'm not super thrilled. I am going to use it a couple more times before I do put up that video at the end of the month, but as of now, not super excited about how this paint works out. While my display sign is drying, I'm going to start working on the bunny head. So taking some hot glue, I'm just going to put down some glue on the bunny head, and I'm going to add some batting, stuffing, whatever you want to call it. Normally I just keep old pillows and use that, but I was out. Luckily my terrier had just destroyed one of my lab's babies is what we call them, but they're her little stuffed animals. So that is why you might see a few rogue black hairs in there, because those are my labs. So yes, thank you to my dog Lucky for destroying a toy so that I could have Batty. I guess he likes to craft as well. So what I'm doing is just putting kind of a thin layer on the top of this, and then that way when I go to attach it to my display, it won't be all flat and just wonky looking. Now I'm going to trim up a piece of fabric. This fabric I got last spring from Hobby Lobby, and I'm continuing to use it, but I'm just cutting kind of a big square of it so that I can make sure I have enough to wrap around my bunny. And then once I trim this, I realized this fabric is super wrinkly, and I'm just gonna be honest, I was too lazy and didn't want to get out my little iron, so I just used some wrinkle spray. It works great. I keep it in my craft room for things like this, and so I'm just gonna spray it on there, flatten this piece of fabric out, and then I'm just gonna begin wrapping it around my bunny. Now that my bunny's all wrapped, I want to work on the insides of the ears. So originally I took some of this white fabric, and what I did is I just folded over a piece of the fabric and used the pink little stencil, not stencil, but the inside of the bunny that I told you guys to set aside as my template, and I trimmed it. Well, I didn't really like the white on the bunny, so now I decided to do the same thing, but now I have burlap for the inside of the ears. To attach the burlap inside of the ears, I'm just using some Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm just going to smush it on there, kind of spread it out with my finger and put it down. I like it because it dries clear. Then once that's done, I'm going to take some raffia, and I'm going to tie it in a knot in the middle and kind of shred it up, and these are going to become whiskers. And then I'm going to use a button for a nose, and I'm just going to hot glue this down onto my bunny. Side note, I quickly wanted to say, I originally had a different button that only had 2 holes, and I kept setting it down and thinking, this looks so weird. And the reason why is it looked like a pig snout. So pay attention to your button, because if you use a 2-hole button, it might look like a bunny pig. My sign is ready. There's my bunny head. So now I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to put a ton of it on the back of this bunny, and then I'm going to smush this bunny down on top of my sign. Now right here you're going to notice that yes, I did paint it the French blue like I mentioned, but when you see me pan through this in a minute, you're going to notice that sign changed colors and I decided to paint it white. But like I said, the bunny's going to go down, and then to add one finishing touch, I'm going to tie a little raffia bow to put on the knob on the top. Alright guys, let me know down below which one of these DIYs was your favorite. If you are visiting me from any of the other ladies' channels, welcome. I am so happy you are here. Please say hi down below so that I can say hi back to you. Don't forget you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at creativeonthecheap, as well as on Twitter at creativeonthe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!